What if it rained food? What if Earth was a cube? What if we had 9 lives? What if bits could fly? It's absurd. If money grew on trees, if we didn't have knees, if we walked through life slightly magnetical, it's absurd. Absurd Hypotheticals.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Absurd Hypotheticals, the show where we overthink dumb questions so you don't have to. I'm your host, Marcus Lehner, and I'm joined here today by Chris Yee and Ben Storms.
Hey, I'm Chris.
Hey, I'm Ben.
You said and Ben Storms as if Ben wasn't here last week, but I wasn't here last week.
I was going to comment on that as well. It really sounded like I was the one who wasn't,
Yeah, I was excited to have both of you, so I emphasized the and, but I always say it in the same order, and it felt real weird to say it.
Yeah, you can't switch the order. It'll throw us off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm back this week. I was gone last week because I broke my ankle, but I'm back. And no, my ankle did not heal in a week, but Marcus lent me his laptop, so now I have all the software I need.
Yeah, it's like the mighty Hercules into the River Styx. I braved the snow and cold to go all the way to Needham and bring my old shitty laptop to Chris to record with.
Now I have the weirdest setup ever. I have 2 laptops going because I have Marcus's bad laptop that's recording everything. And then I have my own laptop, which has my notes. And I have my microphone, but I didn't bring my stand with me because I'm not in my usual place. I'm staying with my parents because they're taking care of me. But I don't have my stand. So I'm holding my microphone.
Just in your hand, as you record.
Yeah, and then I'm wearing headphones, but they're attached to your laptop, which is across the room. So I'm on my bed, half on my bed. It's really weird.
This is incredible.
It's like you're in the hospital connected to all the bags of things with all these wires and tubes and whatnot, except it's all recording software as opposed to medicine.
Instead of an IV, it's a microphone.
God, can you have your dad take a picture of you?
I was trying to decide if I could ask that or not.
I can try to take a selfie.
That kind of works. It's probably good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So I broke my ankle. Actually, so the way I broke it is I was just crossing the street, and people that live in Boston know that the subway, parts of the subway go in the street. So I was crossing the street and I was crossing the tracks, and I just slipped on the tracks, and it was really bad. My foot was pointed the wrong way.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. My friend was actually with me when it happened, and he saw it from across the street. And at first he said he thought that my shoe came off, but he looked closer. He was like, oh no, that's not his shoe, that's his foot. His foot came off.
It was a real bad break.
Yeah.
See, this upsets me, and I think I told you this, Chris, but what I don't like is that this isn't oh, hey, I, was biking or ice skating or playing an extreme sport and, got into a big accident and I broke my ankle. This is I was literally just walking down the street and just normal fell over and my ankle was destroyed. I had this naivety thinking that the upper limit of falling down by myself walking down the street was a sprained ankle. Unless I was very old or frail for some reason. But you're in tip-top shape, and you probably have stronger ankles than I do. And it makes me very just uncomfortable with all the ice and stuff around Boston right now that I'm just gonna walk and my ankle's gonna be...
I didn't even slip on ice. It wasn't cold. It was raining. I just slipped on wet metal.
That's all it takes.
It should take more.
It should take more.
That's my point.
I mean, my whole body weight did fall directly on my ankle. It rolled over and then it bent the wrong way, so it makes sense.
Hey, evolution, design your bottoms for body weight.
Just have a tripod on your foot.
Why don't we have 3 legs?
Yeah, it'd make more sense.
Maybe that's what the males of us have, is the vestigial third leg, the appendix, but has a little bit of function still. It used to be a third leg for stability.
Okay.
And just we got used to walking on 2 legs, so it got gradually less and less use, and so it got smaller and smaller.
There are no animals with 3 legs, right?
Are there any animals with 3 legs?
I don't think
if I look up animals with 3 legs, it's going to show me some really sad puppies.
Yeah, that's all that's going to happen. I don't think there are any naturally occurring 3-legged animals.
Which is interesting.
I mean, I guess what that means is that it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea.
I'm trying to think of animals I wouldn't feel too bad if they had 3 legs, and there's not many. A goat, maybe? I think I'd be okay if I saw a goat with 3 legs. I don't think I would care that much.
Why? What do you have against goats?
I don't think I have anything against goats. I just don't have anything for goats.
They
Like
do
nothing
have,
is.
creepy eyes.
I would be perfectly fine with a centipede with 3 legs.
I don't know. I think it depends where those 3 legs are.
Okay, that's kind of a good point, but I still think I'm cool with this.
Like if it's mostly worm, but they're like clumped together weirdly, like on one thing. There's like 7/8 of the way to the head is 2 legs on one side, 1 leg on the other side. I don't like that centipede.
Yeah, if there are 3 legs on, the same plane of the centipede, but it's, around its body, so it, rolls instead of going forward.
Oh, that is very strange. You're right. I don't like this anymore. I've made a huge mistake, guys.
Should we go on to our questions before we get too deep in this rabbit hole?
Yes,
Yeah.
Or
please.
centipede hole, or goat hole, or whatever your least favorite animal is, I guess. Well, we get to celebrate the Super Bowl this week.
Yeah, Super Bowl party!
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo! Go teams! Yeah, I know. I'm way into it. I know all the teams that are playing.
This is actually, a rare occurrence, because we don't have a backlog of episodes anymore, so we actually know who's in the Super Bowl.
We do.
Oh yeah, so it's the Rams and the Patriots, right?
It is.
Yes.
It is.
And we are from Boston, so we are Patriots fans, which means that everyone else in the country hates
Okay,
us.
don't lump me in with you guys. And with you guys, I mean apparently just you, Chris, because I don't think Marcus is either.
Oh yeah, I guess I'm the only one actually from Boston.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
I'm from New York. I was hoping the Jets would make it, but they were close.
So
They were
close.
so close.
Almost pulled off there, right there at the end.
Yeah, 16 games one way or the other, and they would have gotten there. So our first Super Bowl themed question of the week is: how would you improve football? Ben, tell me if you could reinvent the football sport, what you would do to make it better.
So I'm a reasonably big football fan, not as much as I used to be, but I do think it's a pretty good sport still. But it does have some pretty big issues, and I would say that the biggest one, aside from the concussions and all the other actually bad stuff, it's just that the games take a really long time to happen without much actual game. So specifically, there was actually a thing the Wall Street Journal did back in 2010 where they looked at 4 games and they just timed out what all of the actual time of the broadcast was. So the average length was about 191 minutes, a little over 3 hours. But of that time, only 11 minutes was actual game action. There was also
Wait,
15.
what?
Yep. There was also 15 minutes of replays, 63 minutes of commercials, 35 minutes of shots of the coach / crowd / cheerleaders, kind of just stuff at the game that's not actually, the people playing football. And then 67 minutes.
Players, very, very big coats.
Oh, no. Because 67 minutes of it was just shots of players staying around. 67 minutes.
I mean, how does this compare to other sports?
Poorly?
Probably poor. I mean, definitely
baseball,
poorly.
I feel like baseball is probably the same problem.
Baseball has a similar problem. Yeah, that is true. Basketball and hockey do much better. I don't have actual numbers on them, but yes, baseball does have a very similar problem, and it's also a problem there too. Once again, these numbers were from 2010, so it's not 100% accurate, but the couple of instances I found of recently people picking out how much actual game time there was have gotten around 12 minutes or so as well. And the average length of the broadcast is around 185 minutes now, so it's a little faster, but still way too fucking long. So just to do some math, we're going to say it's a 3-hour broadcast with 12 minutes of action. That means that 1 every 15 minutes, or 6.67% of the time, is actual gameplay. Which means that at any particular point of time in a football game, you have that, percent chance of seeing actual football. So we can do some math. So, that means that 93% of the time, you're not going to see football. And with compound probability, basically if you know the chance of two events, you can figure out the chance of both of them happening at the same time by just multiplying them together. So if you have a coin flip, if the coin, the chance of a coin coming up heads is 50%, but the chance of 2 coins coming up heads is 25%. So using that compound probability theory, you can basically figure out how many games you have to have going consecutively to be able to, if you look at all of them at the same time, definitely see football. You can't get to 100% because of how math works, but we can get to 95%, which only takes 44 consecutive football games. Or sorry, not consecutive.
God.
Yeah, yes, consecutive, yeah. Which is going to be very difficult to pull off because there's only 32 teams, now require 88 teams. So that one's kind of out. Can't really do that one. Not going to work. But we can get to 50%, so you have even odds of seeing football when you look at the football. And that only takes 10 football games at the same time. So that's, that's at least technically possible, I guess. So how do we actually make this happen? There's actually already kind of a way this happens. There's a TV channel called Red Zone that just switches between games where things are happening. I was going to ask if
you were just reinventing the Red Zone.
Sort of. We'll get to that. So yeah, Red Zone basically just switches between games when exciting things happen. So in theory, you always have something exciting happening, but it generally will stay on games when there could be an exciting thing happening. So you still get a lot of just people staying around and things like that. And also this excludes everyone who actually goes to the games, which seems very unfair to me. So I think that the ideal solution is going to involve everyone in the stadium also being able to experience, this better chance of seeing actual football at any point in time. So what you have to do is get multiple football fields into one stadium.
Well, it's easy because football fields are known for being very small.
Yeah, they're so tiny.
Well, and so yes, that's kind of the problem is that you can't just put fields next to each other because a football field is with the end zones is like 120 yards long and 53 1/3 yards across. So if you have 10 of those in one big grid, if you're on one end of the stadium, you will not be able to see the other end of, what's going on at the other end of the stadium, which defeats the whole purpose. That's just stupid. So that's not going to work. So the solution, obviously, is to overlap the fields. So, because you can't have multiple games on one field, that's just dangerous. What you have to do instead is intersect them so they have as much of their own field still left as possible. So the bad news is that we can't get 10 football fields together this way. Because the only way you have to do this is basically to put them on a center point and rotate them and overlap them. And when you have 10, it just doesn't work. It's just too compacted. And I tried a couple of things where I would make them more narrow and stuff, but it didn't work. But you can do 4 fields. 4 fields does work. It's basically just an octagon that is...
I'm trying to picture this.
So...
I think what Ben is doing is when you have the parks in the elementary schools where they have their baseball field that also has to be their soccer field that also has to be their other fields, and there's a lot of or gym floor where there's lots of lines, but only half of them are for your game.
Let me walk you through the visual way. So think of an octagon.
Okay.
Now draw lines going across the octagon, so you're basically making rectangles that are the football fields.
Okay.
Corner to corner, kind of.
Got it. But then if you have the yard lines going across, it's just going to be crazy lines, right?
Well, I figure all the yard lines for each field are a different color.
Oh, okay.
To make things simple.
Sure.
Just go with me on that part. And doing 4 games at a time like this, you wind up with a 24% chance of having football happen at any particular moment, which is actually pretty good compared to our standard 6 2/3 whatever. So you have this new mega field that is just this giant octagon, where yes, 4 football games will happen simultaneously. I may be saying this sounds dangerous, to which I answer, yes. Yes, it is.
Which makes it better.
Which makes
Not
it
because
better.
of the field intersections, just because it's still football.
Both actually, because the problem is, because our main goal here is to keep, play snappy, we don't want to remove any of the the play clock or anything. So everyone's gonna just be running around and not super being able to pay attention to the other games while they are playing their game. So there will be some collisions between games, which is probably gonna be really bad, and we're not gonna worry about that too much.
Yeah, what's the pass interference rule if someone from a different game?
I think that oh man, I don't know. Because you also get into these fun situations where if there's say it's the last week of the season and there's a team playing a game and also playing on the same mega field is a team that has to lose for them to make the playoffs. And they're just taking out the receivers when they run by on their routes.
The meta game.
Yep.
Yeah, can you team up with one of the other teams playing a different game and sabotage the other team?
I mean, maybe that's the answer too, is that yeah, it's just, you just basically forfeit your game and play theirs as well. I don't know. But you have to maintain like offsides and stuff still too. It will get complicated. There will also be a lot of refs around, which makes football way better, clearly. The other fun thing is that in this arrangement, I don't know if you noticed, you can't really have sidelines anymore because the sidelines would just be in someone else's field. So instead, each team just gets the area behind one of the end zones. And it means that you actually have an advantage when you are defending your own end zone because you're very close to your quote unquote sideline. So it's much easier for you to make substitutions and stuff. And the best thing that happens from this is if someone gets like stopped at the goal line and has to kick a field goal, the kicking team has to just sprint all the way across the field through whatever games are also happening in the middle in order to get there, which will be incredible. And you'll get some real buff kickers now because they have to just like shoulder charge through shit to get there. And that's kind of my idea. It's just like
the super football collider.
Yeah. Yo, Dogger's like football, so I put some football in your football.
You could do this to pretty much any sport, and it would make it more interesting.
It definitely would be more interesting. I don't know if it would actually be more watchable, but it would be fun.
I think baseball would be the same amount of boring.
I think the key with baseball would be you'd have to have like 3 diamonds like just slightly offset from each other.
You could fit more baseball fields than football fields.
I think based on how much sport happens per square foot, I think you could put 500-foot baseball fields on top of each other and no one would run into each other.
What'd be really fun would be if you had here's how you do baseball.
Okay, we're not doing baseball. We're not doing baseball. We gotta stay on football.
I had a really good idea there. Really quickly, give me 20 seconds. All right, so the diamonds are at the corners of a big field, and the outfield of each one is like the diamond of another field. So like the center fielder is just staying next to the pitcher of a different game.
I was gonna say that home plate is each base.
That's also good. Anyway.
And the pitcher's an octopus, and he throws all the pitches simultaneously.
Yes. Ship it. Yeah. Anyway, Marcus, what did you do?
Okay, so what I actually was curious about was why they called it the Super Bowl. Because I was like, that's a stupid name. It also has nothing to do with football. Because I actually didn't even know that bowl was like what they used to refer to sports stadiums a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing.
So I looked it up, and the original name, it was not originally called the Super Bowl. The very first Super Bowl, quote unquote, was just called the AFL-NFL Championship Game.
Mm-hmm. That's boring.
Yep, and they thought so too. So Lamar Hunt, the main founder of the American Football League and owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, he came up with the term Super Bowl. And as the son explains it, the idea came from he had a Super Ball toy that his son had. And he's like, that's a catchy name. Who knows? Probably. And he's like, that's a really catchy name. We need a catchy name like that.
So a catchy name exactly like that.
Yeah. And so as his son says, the son said, my dad said, well, we need to come up with a good name. Something like the Super Bowl. And then he said, actually, that's not a very good name. We can come up with something better. So here we are with the Super Bowl. Clearly he could not. But I decided if you're going to have a stupid name, you need to commit to it. So my thought is, what if the stadium that we refer to as a bowl is actually a bowl?
So, what does that mean?
So I'm gonna take the entire football field and basically have it dip in the middle and go up on the sides.
So the actual field, not the stadium, but the field.
The actual field is going to be bowl shaped, and not exactly bowl shaped, more like half pipe shaped. Like I don't think it needs the side by side differential. So what we're gonna have is basically we're gonna get the terrain interesting too. So we're gonna be making kind of a triathlon of terrain for the players. So in the middle, because it's a bowl, we're gonna put some water. So I think starting at about the 30s on each side and going to the middle. I think it's going to be about 5 feet deep in the middle so the players can still stand, but deep enough to be inconvenient in the middle of the field.
Reasonable.
So then after that, between like the 30 and the 10, it's going to be getting steeper and steeper now. Pretty high slope. But I think that's just going to be grass. So we're going to have a little bit of our traditional football in that area. And then at the extreme edges, at the 10-yard line to the touchdown zone, I think we're going to go straight vertical. And we're going to end up with a rock climbing wall.
Okay.
So we're going to have I'm going to say 20 feet, 20, 25 feet of rock climbing wall on right by the touchdown zone.
So how do you just like die if you fall?
Okay, so safety is going to be an issue. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave it up to the NFL to pick the one that is most fun and least safe.
I mean, that's kind of their modus operandi. So
I think you would strap on. So I think you would clip on to some what they use at rock climbing places, like the tension rope.
Mhm.
So you're running the football, and then you have to stop and clip on, and then climb.
And then you start climbing. And so yeah, so if you were playing from the grass, then people can throw the ball up to you while you're on the wall, so you can get up there and climb to the very top, at which you can get your touchdown. And then I was thinking, a pretty big part of football is that when you can't get your touchdown because you're a pussy, you kick the ball into the middle of the what do they call the thing?
Goalposts?
The goalposts? I thought the whole construction might have had a name, but they're just called goalposts.
Listening to you like fish for football terms is hilarious, by the way.
Hey, I know. I don't think I've gotten any completely wrong yet.
It's called an end zone, not a touchdown zone, but you know what? Close enough.
Touchdown zone.
The picnic area, the celebration box.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to kick it into the goalposts in the end zone that are already 25 feet up reasonably. It's just going to be too high. But I don't want to get rid of the kicking, because I think the kicking's pretty fun. Because kicking a football is just like a weirdly out of control thing that I think is funny. Because it's a bad ball shape.
Yeah.
So I think if you are in the last 10 yards, you don't have your quarterback throw the ball anymore. Because I think it's too easy to defend players who are kind of very slow on this rock climbing wall.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what you do instead is you need to give yourself some more options, because you can cover everybody pretty good. So I think you just need more footballs. So what I want to do is I want to line up like 8 kickers, and they'll just be kicking footballs at the wall for their team to catch. And if they bring any of the footballs up, they can get a touchdown. And there might be more injuries this way. Like, I feel like if you get hit in the back of the head while you're trying to rock climb a wall, you might fall off. But you got a little bit of safety there.
I don't know why. This is starting to remind me of that Nickelodeon game show Guts.
Yeah, I was getting that too.
It does have a little bit of a Guts vibe with the what do they call it? The crag or the
aggro
crag?
Yeah,
the aggro crag, which is the stupidest. That's a stupider name than Super Bowl. So you have your field, you have your triathlon, you have your end zone. The next thing is like starting the play. Like, they have the football in the end zone. They got their touchdown. Now they kick it off for the next team to get. It's going to be pretty shitty television to watch people like climb down a 20-foot rock climbing wall to like go catch the football that's been not catch the football. They'll go collect the football that's been floating in the water for like 15 minutes as you descended. So what I want to do is I want to connect some zip lines from the top of the wall that like go over the water portion. Like, they get pretty low near the water and maybe like connect to the opposite shore. So the ball gets kicked into the water, and then both teams zip line and dive into the water to try and get the ball.
Interesting.
This one, I also admit, may be a slight safety concern. And again, of which I'm going to trust the competence and decision-making and moral fortitude of the NFL to make sure that this is a perfectly safe sport for all their players to live long and luxurious careers with no horrible after effects.
And Ben thought his idea was dangerous.
Ben's was crazy dangerous. Are you kidding?
Yeah, mine's probably more dangerous.
Yeah, Ben has them playing football still.
Yeah.
Jesus.
There's less actual football involved from this one, which makes it far safer.
But yeah, that's my awesome idea for football. Chris, what have you got on your docket?
Okay, so yeah, when something that's always like impressed me about football while watching on TV are like those on-screen graphics things that they have like on the field. So like, obviously they have the line of scrimmage and they have like the first down line and stuff like that. But then they've gotten fancier with it. They've put like actually nice looking graphics on the field, and it like moves with the camera and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that was really neat, but the players can't see it and people in the stadium can't see it. So I wanted to try to find a way to make them see it. I think that would be an improvement to football. So I started looking into like the biggest screens in the world. The first thing I looked at was projection screens, and the largest permanent projection screen is in Moscow in the Music Media Dome, and it is 22,765 square feet.
That's a big number.
Yeah, a football field is, in feet, it's 360 feet by 160 feet, including the end zones. And that's 57,600 square feet. So the projection screen isn't big enough. It would, I mean, theoretically it would work, but we just need something bigger. So I looked at the largest high definition LED display in the world. That's in China. It's at a place called The Place.
These are some winner names.
Pretentious. The Place.
Yeah, and this is like huge. It's 80,000 square feet. So this is big enough. It's actually like a canopy display. So it's like, I think it's above a path. And then like you have the screen above you as you walk, which is really cool. It's actually composed of like 5 smaller screens that like they're lined up to create a continuous image. So this would work. You could put this on the field and just have the players run on this, and then just have like the yard lines. You could put like super fancy graphics on the field, and that'd be cool, and that would work.
You got more?
I do have more.
Whoa.
And then I started thinking, well, if we have a screen, why not use a touch screen? Because why not?
Because why the fuck not? We're in the 21st century.
Yeah. So I looked at the largest touch screen in the world. It was actually used on CBS's. They made a game show called Candy Crush where you just play Candy Crush.
That is the most CBS sentence I have ever heard.
Yeah. But the thing is, like the gimmick was that it's on a giant screen, and the giant screen is a touch screen. So this is actually a Guinness World Record. It's 30 feet by 20 feet, which is pretty small compared to a football field. It's made up of 55 screens that are 55 inches large. So they're 11 feet by, no, they're 4 feet by 2.7 feet.
Got it.
And I looked more into these, like the individual screens. They're made by a company called Multitaction. And Multitaction makes like these, they call them eye walls, which is basically just like interactive walls. So they specialize in this, and they just make like giant touch walls. And the technology that they use is called optical touch technology. So each of these screens has 32 infrared cameras on them, and that's how they tell like what's touching them and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So this is proven on the CBS show. They actually use the screen as a floor, so there are people like running around on the screen. So it's already proven that you can like walk on it and run on it, and it's fine. It doesn't like break or anything. We just need to make it bigger. So to fit a football screen or a football field, you need 132 screens by 40 screens, which is 5,280 screens.
Where will football ever get the money?
So you'll just have this giant touchscreen as your field. People will run on it. It'll track where the players are because they're running on it and knows where their feet are. And I figured, yes, you can put all these graphics on, but since it's like an interactive thing and it tracks where you are, why not put more interactive stuff? So I started looking into like mobile games, because like you could put other games into football so that they're playing games while they're playing football.
Gameception.
Yeah. So first I was thinking of like you could put down like a top-down shooter or something that fits in pretty well with that format. You could have some sort of like Tetris or something, or like a rhythm game or something like that. But then I came across Madden. There's a Madden mobile game. It's called Madden NFL Overdrive. It came out in August 2018, so it's like pretty new. And it has, in the App Store, it has a rating of 4.6 stars based on over 300,000 reviews. So it's a pretty high quality game.
That's a lot of reviews. Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people like it. So instead of the players playing actual football, I think I'm just going to have them play Madden. Just giant
Everyone
Madden.
just get in a big thumb costume.
Yeah. And that is my improvement to football.
I have one other suggestion for the big touchscreen.
Okay.
So you just have some like colored circles running around this field.
Yep.
And periodically during plays, the announcer just goes, "Right hand red," and everyone has to go and find a right hand red.
Yeah, that's an option. You could do that. There's like infinite possibilities with this touchscreen thing.
There's infinite possibilities, but I like Twister. But we're gonna do another take on the football playoffs and Super Bowl after we come back from this break.
Hey Marcus, I listen to this podcast called Absurd Hypotheticals, and I like these people, but I don't know what else they do other than podcasting.
Wow, Chris, I think I have a solution to your problem. If you can't get enough of me and Chris and, well, mostly me and Chris, you can check out some other stuff that we do at nerdchomp.com. If you go to nerdchomp.com, you can find out things that we do, including this podcast. We also do a YouTube channel. Me and Chris do our channel Can We Games, where we try to do, honestly, mostly hypotheticals in different types of video games.
Yeah, it's kind of this show in video game form.
Yeah, so right now we are doing If We Can Beat Spyro by Always Running Around in our Running Man Challenge series. We are doing a Legend of Zelda randomizer where all the items in the game are randomized. Also on Nerd Chomp, we have To the Moon Publishing, which is Chris writes books.
That's my books. I like to write.
I've read a couple of them. They're pretty good. I should read more of them, Chris. Get me more books.
I have more than a couple of books, so...
Yeah, he's
That's
like a
on
legit
you.
author. And is published, and you can get all the stuff on Amazon or in the Kindle store or wherever books are sold. Well, not everywhere. Bookstores are a dying breed.
Go to your supermarket. They'll be there.
I wouldn't be doesn't Amazon have like kind of supermarkets? I'm not sure. There's probably going to be books.
Well,
in Whole
Amazon
Foods
owns
soon.
Whole Foods.
Yeah, so there might be something going on there. And then lastly, there's Marcus Phoenix Games, where I design board games. Mostly as a hobby. I do not have any for sale just yet, but if you want to follow my progress and see what I'm working on, you can go and check out all those things, and I'll occasionally post
you have like
there.
a prototype up, right?
Yeah, I have a prototype up, and I have a couple articles about events I've done too, and showcased some fun pictures, and lots of good times. Alright, welcome back everybody. We are going to go into our second question now, which is, which football mascot would win in a fight? And so the way we set this up is we took this year's football bracket, and we have put all the teams in.
Just calling it a football bracket is hilarious. I'm sorry. You know,
I got
the football bracket as you
This
adjust
year's-
your monocle.
This year's playoff bracket, as it stands, and well, it's as it stood when it started. And if the mascots were fighting each other instead of football being played, who would win the Super Brawl?
So we're ignoring, like, the skill of the actual team.
Yes.
Nothing to do with football.
It is just a fight to the death between the two mascots.
Or the name, like, some of them have bad mascots, so,
It's really just the name of the team.
and we'll get into it for each of them, but some of them don't have mascots, which blows my mind, or their name is not, like, their mascot is just like a dude, but, like, their name is cooler, so
That's
we put
very
the name.
very frequent, actually.
Almost all of them.
Yeah, pretty much
Anyhow.
all of them.
Top of the bracket, New England Patriots, they get a bye. So our first actual competition is the LA Chargers versus the Baltimore Ravens.
And we were kind of iffy about what a charger is.
Yeah, so
We were going to use Boltman, who is basically just a dude with a lightning bolt for a head. But he's actually not even an official mascot of the Chargers. He's just like
He's
guy
just a
who
crazy
dresses
guy.
up like that of his own free will and doesn't get paid or anything. So I don't know what his deal is, but we felt kind of weird using him at that point.
yeah, also I wasn't sure about, like, I tried looking him up and there was basically zero, real information about him. I basically
Yeah, his
only
powers are
found this
vague.
Yeah.
I found this weird, like, fake Wikipedia article. Like, it looked like Wikipedia, but definitely was not Wikipedia.
Yeah, I've stumbled upon a few of those.
And it was talking about, like, how Boltman's whole thing is that he hates anime. And he was going to go around and destroy anything anime. It was his whole purpose.
I feel like this should have been your first tip-off. This was maybe not an official Chargers.
Well, no, it tipped me off that was not official Wikipedia. It did not tip me off that Boltman wasn't the official LA Chargers mascot because, fuck, that's like, that was the mascot. Like, I wouldn't expect it not to be the mascot. So, I think we have two options here, boys. We have chargers. So the two definitions of chargers are either like a phone charger, which I imagine is not a very high seed in this competition.
It's not great.
Or another definition of charger is a horse for a battle or parade. So basically a horse.
I mean, the symbol of, like, their team symbol is a lightning bolt. So it could be, like, lightning. That could be a thing.
Could be lightning.
Could be lightning.
Which lightning has, like, if it strikes you, then you automatically die. But the chances of it hitting you are very low.
And it never strikes twice, so it can never make it past the second round.
I guess either one, like, no matter what we choose, doesn't have a great chance. I guess the horse is probably the best chance.
We'll go with the horse. I think it's at one point they had a logo that was like a horse or something too. Like a horse with a lightning bolt or something.
It was like a very early logo.
So game one is Raven versus possibly electric horse.
Well, are they normal horses or electric horses?
I'm not gonna lie, either way, I feel like the horse wins.
Yeah, it's just
probably.
Then again, okay, so I think the horse still wins, but just think about this. Like, what is a horse going to do to a raven?
You could try to kick it.
It could try to kick it, yeah.
So are the odds that a horse are going to kick a raven better than the odds of the raven finding the horse's eyes?
Horses can bite, too.
Yeah.
Just
I guess
don't
that
look it in
is
the
better.
mouth.
I guess, yeah. That convinces me. If it was just kicking, I think the raven has a good chance. But I think if the horse uses its face to attack the raven is in bad shape.
It could like rear up and like do the horse kick thing, you know, where they like rear up and have the front legs kicking, kind of.
Yeah.
That's a thing too.
I mean, the raven, like, its only path to victory is going for the eyes, and that he has to go close to its mouth to do that. So
right, yeah.
All right. So first result: LA Chargers versus Baltimore Ravens. LA Chargers advance.
yes.
To the quarterfinals. Sorry, the way we have this bracket set up, it's not very clear where the quarter, semi, and finals are.
Right.
Anyhow, next competition, the Indianapolis Colts versus the Houston Texans.
So we have horses again.
Yep.
Yeah,
More
Colts
horses.
is a horse again. Very popular mascot.
Texans. So Texans are just people from Texas?
Yes. Should we choose?
Yeah, I think so.
Should we choose a particular person from Texas?
Do you know someone from Texas?
I mean, I'm from Texas, but I prefer not to be involved in
Oh,
this.
it's Ben. It's Ben versus a horse.
God
Here we go.
Damn it. I've made a huge mistake.
All right, Ben, give us your top 3 advantages against a horse.
I would probably lose to a horse if it was trying to kill me. I'm not gonna lie.
Come on, Ben, give us your 3 goods against a horse.
Okay. Opposable thumbs. The ability to speak. The
ability to love.
The ability to love things that aren't also horses. I don't know.
Okay, advantages of horses against Ben. Also ability to love unconditionally.
Shit.
Bam.
Bam.
Second ability, big.
Yeah, is like 800 pounds heavier than I am.
Third ability, muscles.
The thing is, if we choose Colts, there's a chance we could have horses against horses.
That's fine.
Okay.
If that's what it is. We didn't make this bracket.
Okay, so Colts beat Ben.
Yep. I'm not going to argue too much on this one, guys.
And the last one on this side of the bracket is the Kansas City Chiefs get a bye, so we're going to move over to the other side, where we have the first one being the Seattle Seahawks versus the Dallas Cowboys.
So Seahawks, like, that's a specific species of hawk, right?
Yeah, so it is the Western Osprey, which is just like a medium-sized hawk. Like,
how big is it?
I think it's like 2 feet high, like 2 feet tall. Maybe that's a too high a number. Western Osprey.
So I think, unless I'm mistaken, actually, and they stopped doing this, the Seahawks actually do have a Seahawk that they, like, at the start of games have fly around the stadium, by the way. So they legitimately actually do have a mascot that is their team name.
Oh, hell yeah. It's exactly 2 feet tall.
I think he attacked a player at one point, and that's why I'm not sure if they still do it.
Okay.
Also, that video is hilarious.
How did the player fare?
He did okay, because I think he had his helmet on, but it was just like a very weird experience for him.
Okay, so Seahawks are thwarted by helmets.
Was he a much maligned player? Is this like when the bald eagle bit Trump?
I'm trying to like look it up now. Hold on. Mascot land on player. Can I find this like really quickly? Oh, land on a fan. Land on a fan. It sort of hung out there for a while.
And the fan did not have a helmet.
No, the fan did not. But the bird just kind of hung out and stared at him, I think, and then flapped its wings a little bit and then flew away.
We got 2-foot hawk versus a cowboy.
So Cowboy probably has a revolver.
Yep.
Like a 6-shooter revolver or something.
So the question is, can he shoot the hawk with one of his 6 shots before the hawk gets him?
I mean, have you seen those like shooting competition things? They're pretty good at shooting.
Yeah.
Hawks are pretty high and fast, though.
I mean, you can wait until it's coming in.
Have you played Red Dead?
No. Yes.
Yeah, moving to Deadeye. Boom. Done.
I've
Next.
shot plenty of hawks out of this guy. Actually, don't know if they're hawks.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you can be like, I don't know how he spec'd his Red Dead stats to see if he beats the Seahawks. We don't know how this guy spec'd. So is he like a gunslinger, or is he like a more historically accurate cowboy?
I would say gunslinger.
Well, yeah. Well, the gunslingers don't actually exist, though, right?
I was about to say, well, what about other thing in the bracket? But all of our things in here are actually pretty reasonable, so I can't say that. We don't have any of the bullshit mascots in here.
It's very hard because it's definitely a one-shot, like, it's definitely a one-shot kill for the cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if the Seahawk can descend and be in combat, like in melee range, there's nothing the cowboy's gonna be able to do because, like, yeah, you're smaller than the hawk, but what the hawk does is the hawk is there and fast, and it's very sharp. The problem is the whole hawk is sharp.
Can you kill a bird with your bare hands? This is the question I have to ask myself now.
Yeah, if you're really dedicated to it, you could probably grab it out of the air and just like rip it apart.
Right?
If you really wanted to.
If you really wanted to. This is a 2-foot bird? That's a pretty big bird. Yeah, I don't know. This one's tough.
Oh, here's an important thing. All hawks and owls are federally protected under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. These laws strictly prohibit the capture, killing, or possession of hawks or owls without special permit.
Oh, we got a legal eagle here. But not an eagle, it's a hawk.
Well, cowboy is a man of the law, right?
I don't know if that's necessarily true. There are bad cowboys.
They're bad cowboys, I guess.
All right, okay, hear me out. The Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders wear white cowboy hats, and white cowboy hats are associated with good cowboys. Ergo, the Dallas Cowboy would be a good cowboy and would not harm a legally protected bird.
So it would be against their moral compass to do it.
Yes. So I think that the Seahawk wins.
Yeah, I was reading this thing now just where a couple people have gotten attacked by hawks, and it is not pretty. You could definitely get fucked
Multiple
up by
hawks
a
or
hawk.
just one?
Just one hawk.
Yeah.
I had its talons embedded in my skull, and it was agony. I managed to shoo it away briefly, but then it came back at me.
But he
Yeesh.
wasn't trying to rip it apart.
Maybe he should have been. Well, but that whole federal protection thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to say Seahawk.
I say
Didn't expect
Seahawk
this
too.
one.
I just don't think he can hit it. Like, I think just the accuracy is going to have to be like
No.
super high.
You're right.
And pistols are not the most accurate of weapons. It's not like a rifle or a shotgun where you normally use to shoot birds.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have almost the same debate again, except now we're going to do it a little bigger because our next matchup is the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Chicago Bears.
Marcus, I'm
It's
going to
not
correct you.
really
'cause
the same.
There's no debate because a bear would totally fuck up an eagle.
Yeah.
There is no question in my mind about this one.
Why do you say that a cowboy is the same as a bear?
Okay, I was like, the eagle is a slightly bigger hawk and a bear is a slightly bigger person.
Okay,
was in my head.
that is kind of understating the differences in these comparisons.
Well, eagle is much bigger than a hawk, and a bear is only a bit bigger than a person.
Okay, hold on. We're going to have to flip these statements around a little bit,
By
I think.
percentage, dude. Like, a eagle is like fucking big, dude. Bald eagle, how high? Bald eagle, how tall?
Like, you keep on saying how high.
Isn't a grizzly bear like 800 pounds?
A bald eagle, okay, if bald eagle is 50% taller than a hawk, and then a bear
Has
is
400% the weight of a man.
Well, no. The bald eagle is going to be 8 times as heavy as a hawk. Because it's twice the height.
This is kind of a mechanics of scale thing, my dude. I'm not gonna lie here. I feel like it's the bear going away.
It's okay. I agree with the bear is going to win. So I'm just going to write that in our bracket right now.
Okay.
Just arguing this for no reason at all.
I was just saying that my analogy is not so fucking horrible as you guys make it out to be.
Okay, so that was the first round.
That was the first round of playoffs. We were through the wild card round.
Which brings us to our quarterfinals. And back to our first side of the bracket. For their first match, the New England Patriots versus our previous winner, the Chargers.
So, Patriots, we said, were like American Revolutionary War soldiers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Versus horses.
Yeah. They got a musket, so they got one shot.
They've got musket, and they've got a bayonet at the end.
They do have a bayonet at the end.
The bayonet helps a lot.
It does.
I think the musket is doesn't really do anything, but
the musket,
bayonet.
Yeah, you're gonna miss that shot. Muskets are even worse than the handguns we talked about before. Like,
yeah,
you're not gonna miss. You're not gonna fucking miss the horse.
You are totally gonna miss that.
You're
horse.
definitely
Are
gonna
you
miss
kidding?
the
No
horse.
way you're gonna miss the horses are big. Horse big, hawk small, horse big.
You ever seen the Patriot?
No. I think you hit the horse. I think the issue you have is I think it is very hard to
Kill
the
a horse?
horse immediately.
You only have one shot with the musket, and then you have to like reload. It's a whole process.
You are not reloading.
Yeah.
No, yeah. You're not going to get a chance.
So you get
You are
one
not going to
shot.
get a chance to reload. You have
Let's
one
say-
shot.
Best case scenario.
This is what Eminem was singing about. Sorry, that was a really dumb joke.
So best case scenario, where would the bullet hit?
Best case scenario, the bullet hits the spinal column or the heart, where it would actually take it down immediately.
So the horse is probably going to be charging at you head first. So a smaller target, it's probably going to hit the head or like one of the legs or something.
Hitting a leg actually isn't the worst, because horses are not animals
that's
that
true.
function super well without all their legs. Well, more so than other like, okay, if you shot a bear in the arm or in one of its legs, the bear's gonna still be able to get at you. Like a horse, I
Right.
feel would just fall. Like a horse folds once it loses a limb.
This is true. You're right. It was just a hilarious way to say that.
I still think it's not going to hit though.
I think it's
Marcus
not
is
gonna
pretty
hit either.
confident it will hit. I don't think it will.
Hold on. I want to, let's Google accuracy of muskets.
So the specific musket I think most Revolutionary War soldiers used was the Brown Bess.
Brown Bess musket. Let's see. The effective range of a single musketeer firing a single man-sized target is around 50 to 75 yards.
I mean, I guess you could just wait for the horse to be super close and then shoot.
75 yards is still pretty far.
Yeah, it is
Hold on.
pretty
Well,
far.
they don't have sights.
It's a gun. Guns shoot fairly straight, even old guns.
Man, even these really
This isn't
aren't.
this isn't like a fucking like it's gonna shoot a potato that's gonna like fly off to the left or something.
I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because like the whole Revolutionary War tactic was just to line up.
Right.
Let me say this: I think if the Patriot doesn't kill the horse immediately, the horse would just kick the Patriot to death.
Yeah.
I think that
Yes.
there's maybe a 20% chance that the Patriot can get a vital shot on the first go. Therefore, 80% chance the horse wins.
So the horse wins.
I think we all agree the horse wins.
So the horse wins. When in doubt, the horse wins.
Okay, so similar
Excellent.
battle in
All
our
right,
next
so
round.
We've been Team Horse, and we have our other horse back again, the Indianapolis Colts, now facing off against the Kansas City Chiefs, which I believe we are taking as a Native American chief.
Yes.
Yes.
So they don't have guns.
But they are much more in tune with nature.
Right. But does that mean they wouldn't want to kill the horse?
Would the chief concede, saying, "I will not fight one of nature's majestic, beautiful beings"? Or does the chief just have the inside scoop on how to deal with horses?
What are like traditional Native American weapons?
Like a stone, hand axe, bow and arrow.
Bow and arrow is pretty strong,
It's not as good as a gun.
but it's multiple shots.
Yeah, but I feel like yeah.
It's got the same problem as the gun, where if you don't hit a vital spot, the horse is just going to keep going.
I think it's hard to hit a vital spot too.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's the horse again.
Yeah, I think it's the horse.
Horses are way more powerful than I expected, guys.
Who knew?
You learn something new every day. This is also good because if we said that the Chiefs won, then it just sets up them against more horses next round. So,
Well, now we're gonna have to figure out who between these two horses wins.
I have
next up.
thoughts. We'll get back to once we come back to the side of the bracket. But for now, let's head back to the NFC.
Yeah. So next one up, we have the LA Rams versus the Seattle Hawks. Is what I have written.
Yeah, Marcus has been typing this in the spreadsheet. Instead of Seahawks, he wrote Hawks.
I just wrote Hawks, and I'm like, no, it's Seahawks, and I just added Hawks to
Hawks.
the Hawks.
Seahawks versus Rams.
Seahawks versus Rams. Okay.
So Rams, are Rams aggressive? I don't think they are.
I think
They're
can
fairly
be-
aggressive. I guess.
they can be
They have the
aggressive,
big
yeah.
horns and they run into each other, I guess.
can a ram run into a bird? Like,
Well, I think it's a lot harder for the hawk to damage a ram. So they got their fur. So like the talons are going to do way less to the body. So you got to start looking at the face again. And the rams
I just think we're squishier than most animals. Yeah.
and the rams have like that twisty horns that kind of protect their face pretty good. Like if they shake their head left or right, can the hawk do much?
That's a good question.
I guess that is true. They have to get close to their face.
Yeah, that's true. The Rams are actually custom built for this very task. Counterpoint: if the Seahawk can manage to land on one of the horns, it just has like a nice front row seat to Peck City. So that's not ideal. But I still think that it's more likely that the Ram can just like whip the head around and whack it.
Yeah, I think the Rams have the advantage here. I'm gonna advance them.
Yeah, I agree, I think.
La Rams.
That's unexpected. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rams are making way for it. Well, I didn't expect them to win anything, so they have made it further than I expected. All right, our last quarterfinal round here: the Chicago Bears versus the New Orleans Saints.
So what did we say a saint was?
I could envision a generic like holy saint man, just a pretty good moral dude in a robe. He is not going to do very good against a bear.
Right. Because, basically any way you go, it's going to be like a person of impeccable moral fiber, which, I mean, that's good and all, and like we should all, strive and whatnot, but also that's a fully grown bear. And I don't know if you saw The Revenant, but I did, and that does not end well.
Let me hit you with this one. Saint Nick.
Technically a saint.
Technically a saint. I still think he gets mauled by a bear because it's a bear.
Does he have magic though? Does he have magical powers?
Are there any canon Santa Claus versus polar bear?
I'm definitely Googling Santa Claus versus polar bear right now.
I mean, they're both Coke mascots. They're kind of buddies.
Oh, they are just cracking open a cold one next to each other. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking right now. If I put Santa Claus versus polar bear, the first series of images are: first image, polar bear sitting next to Santa Claus with a Coke. Second image, polar bear clinking Cokes with Santa Claus. Next image, same, just Santa Claus and polar bear. Fourth image, two polar bears sitting next to each other. Implying that the polar bear has murdered Santa and replaced him with a polar bear friend.
It's canon.
So that's how we're judging this question.
I mean, I think in retrospect, we should have realized that the bear is going to be a pretty tough opponent for a lot of things.
I mean, there is one image with a picture of Santa Claus and a picture of a polar bear, and it says pick your favorite, and then Santa has 37 and the polar bear has 28.
I've written down the Bears. I think the Bears are going to win.
The Bears are going to win.
I think there's only like a 5% chance that the saint you get is Saint Nicholas. So even if Saint Nicholas could defeat a bear, it might not show up.
That's reasonable. Okay.
I can go with that.
All right, now we have our Why the Long face-off on the other side between our two horses.
All right, I have thoughts here.
I want to hear Ben's thoughts.
I have thoughts on Chargers versus Colts. Specifically that a Colt is a young male horse.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And a Charger is probably a full-grown horse.
Potentially electric.
Potentially electric.
It's not electric.
Okay, so it's not electric, but even still, if we're saying that a Charger is a war horse, that is going to be a full-grown, good stock horse.
That is
versus
true.
a young horse.
He's got a point.
I think this is not an area where just the age is going to be an advantage. I think it's going to be a situation where, the experience and just sheer size is going to win the day.
According to Google, a horse is in its racing prime at about 4 years old.
Racing prime, but battle prime.
Right.
We're not talking about racing.
It's not a foot race. It's a death race.
I can envision like a horse that is like, either a battle horse or even more so a parade horse of just being like this grizzled old veteran. Like he's like donned with like parade gear, and like he's got like the neck thing, like the
neck thing?
The horse decorations. Like, they got like a
horse
wreath or something on there.
decorations.
The horse decorations. Look up horse decorations.
If I Google horse decorations, I'm going to get a bunch of like fucking like bookends that are horses. Like,
anyhow, envision a horse dressed up for a parade. Now imagine he has like one eye like scarred over and like just the grumpiest expression on.
Yeah, that horse is going to kick the young horse's ass.
Okay, so we agreed I was going to say Long Island Chargers.
Yes, the Long Island Chargers
have advanced to the finals.
Mhm.
Yes. I like that we actually justified that. We didn't just pick a random one.
Yeah, I realized that once we managed to get both of them into the semis, that there was actually an angle that would give us an answer. So I'm glad I thought of that very quickly.
Well, just keep patting yourself on the back, Ben.
Oh, I will.
Moving on to our other semifinal round. We have the Long Island Rams versus the Chicago Bears.
I mean, it's a goddamn bear still,
Do we
guys.
have to talk about this one?
We really should have planned this better.
I have a very good... I mean, we didn't plan this, guys. We just took the playoff bracket.
Yeah,
It's
this
the,
is just what
I guess
happened.
it is, yeah.
The NFL fucked it up.
Yeah, I guess the bear should have been in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the bear just grabs the ram by the horns and just like Super Mario style throws the ram like into the stadium.
Yeah, this is, yeah.
Oh, so they're fighting in the stadium? I didn't even realize that.
Either, but that does make sense.
I guess it does.
I mean, yeah, it's a goddamn bear, guys. Like, still. Bears are terrifying.
All right, final.
This is going to be interesting.
In the Super Brawl, we have our grizzled parade veteran horse versus our very easily so far undefeated bear.
Yeah. Grizzled horse versus grizzly bear. Who wins? I mean, I think I've made my opinions clear on bears.
The bear is pretty good. Is there any chance of the horse winning?
Can we think of a compelling reason in which a bear is not going to win?
I think a horse kick is probably the strongest attack between the two. So I think horses have more, like, are bulkier and stronger than a bear, but a bear's got a lot more versatility.
Yeah. It's like the horse's route to victory is like, it spins, does like a back kick, stuns the bear, and then like tramples it.
I mean, does the horse have like a run up to the bear? Because it can like trample over it. The momentum helps.
I feel like it's still going to get like a claw on the side or something on the way through, you know? And like,
I think it'll be bad.
that
I think if the horse charged the bear, I think the bear's going to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Because like, there's not really a weight advantage. Actually, weight of horse, weight of bear. Hold on. To
Do
Google.
this scientifically.
Weight of horse.
This entire segment has just been us Googling animal facts.
Weight of bear. Okay, all right. So are we saying, what kind of bear is it? This is important.
I would say either black bear or brown bear.
I feel like the bear on the bear's logo is a brown bear.
Okay.
So a horse's weight is 840 to 2,200 pounds. A brown bear's weight is 180 to 1,300 pounds. So the horse might actually have the weight advantage. But the bear has claws and teeth.
And a horse has hooves.
Yeah.
This is very close for our final. I thought one team was going to definitely just be like, "Oh, I got this stupid ability."
Yeah, I actually.
I mean, the horse can run circles around the bear. Can the bear turn quickly?
Yeah, the bear has way more mobility than a horse. Horses can't even like go sideways.
I was thinking the other way around.
I think the bear is actually ahead on the mobility question.
Have you ever tried to maneuver a horse in a video game, Chris? You played Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, but the horse is faster, so it can like run in a circle around the bear and like attack it from a different angle.
I don't think horses have that maneuverability. Like, consistently have that maneuverability of being. He's not gonna be able to like fucking like side dodge the bear.
Yeah, I guess I can't sidestep.
Fun fact, by the way. So the galloping speed of a horse is 25 to 30 miles per hour. And brown bears have been clocked at speeds of 30 miles per hour.
Really?
Yep. Bears are goddamn terrifying, guys.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. Everyone, we're gonna do 3, 2, 1, and then you're gonna say who you think is gonna win.
I
Okay.
think we're all going to say the same thing.
3, 2, 1.
Bear. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So the
I was
winner.
trying to give the Chargers a fighting chance, but nope.
I mean,
I think they had a legit chance.
Yeah.
it's just bears are terrifying, dude. Bearifying, if you will.
Yeah. So the winner of the Super Bowl bracket is the Chicago Bears.
Yay!
Woo!
We're excited.
Yeah, that was cool.
They should be happy. I mean, they're not in the real Super Bowl.
No, they're
so.
not.
How do our actual Super Bowl teams do? Patriots did not do good.
Nope.
Surprisingly, you would think Gunn would beat a lot of these animals. But they
Yeah,
got unlucky against the
I'm really
Grizzle
happy that we
horse.
killed off all people as soon as possible. Even though one of them was myself. I forgot about
Yeah,
that
Ben,
until right now.
Ben died in this bracket.
Yeah. Not even the eventual champion. I'm disappointed in myself.
You died to a semifinalist.
I did, but I mean, yeah, that's not bad, I guess.
You didn't make it out of the wild card round. You didn't get your wild card.
Yeah.
Well, he was up against a horse, so
As we learned, horses are kind of OP.
yeah, horses are pretty OP.
But not as OP as
In
bears.
our imaginations. We have
Yeah.
one that horses are OP in our imaginations.
Right.
Yeah.
There's definitely people listening to you who know, like, one horse fact who are like, you guys are fucking idiots.
The horse definitely would have killed that bear. Wait a minute.
I mean, people have tamed horses.
People have tamed
People have tamed
bears.
Look at the circus. We've taught bears how to, like, go on, like, to balance on balls. We haven't done that to a horse.
I mean, like Native American chiefs have tamed horses.
And bears.
What I'm saying is our human versus animal pair up, for the horses, it was Native American chiefs. For the bears, it was saints.
No, I guess that's true. Regardless.
I mean, a bear would have beat that patriot, so.
Regardless.
Regardless, we have decided our bracket. We have determined our winner, which means it is time to read off next week's questions. What if Earth was shaped like a donut? And what if all vehicles disappeared?